Today is August 13th, 2025. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, I think it was Mark Twain that once said that rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Well, you've probably been wondering where I've been the last 8 or 9 weeks. And I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but I had a tick bite. I was on 2 antibiotics, and they caused more damage than the tick did. They wiped out all the good bacteria in my gut, and my energy level went from 100 down to about 15, and I was just dragging. I just was not in any position to do hardly anything, whether inside the house or outside. So that's and I'm not 100% now, but I'm almost back to normal. So here I am, and I'm hoping that this is going to become a regular feature once again. And it's kind of frustrating because during the time I was off, man, there was some great news, pro-life news, and most of it had to do with Planned Parenthood. You know, the Supreme Court ruled, I think it was a case in South Carolina, that went our way. Oklahoma Governor Stitt ruled or signed a bill just last week defunding Planned Parenthood. Just, you know, I think there were several things that happened. I saw on lifenews.com that in the first 6 months of this year, 2025, almost 40 Planned Parenthood clinics have closed, 3 of them in Michigan. I think I talked about those before. And then in Louisiana, more clinics close. The state is now abortion clinic free. So good news. And I do think that this is probably going to be resolved sooner or later by the Supreme Court. Because the main issue with Planned Parenthood is some people have been using Planned Parenthood as their healthcare provider, and they're getting Medicaid funding as reimbursement for these services. But the odd thing is, or the tragedy is that even though they're getting Medicaid funds for a non-abortion related issue, the money is all being funneled into their coffers, and they kill almost 400,000 babies every year through abortion. So it's a bad organization all the way. You can't get around the fact that it's a bad, evil, corrupt organization. And we'll see how this all plays out in the courts. It's going to be resolved in the courts. And we do have a conservative court. We'll see how they deal with this issue of funding. You don't see pregnancy care centers get federal funds. And they really shouldn't. Alternatives locally does not get federal funds. Now, some states provide state funds to pregnancy care centers. And that would be nice, but not at the federal level. Okay, so it's an ongoing story, as we all know. Be hopeful on defunding Planned Parenthood for good. Okay, second item, and this seems to be a reoccurring story too, coming out of England. There's a woman, Isabel Vaughan Spruce, talked about her before several times. She, I believe, is the director of March for Life UK. I think she lives in Birmingham, England. Well, she's been arrested twice for violating some buffer zone regulation that says you can't do anything in this little zone in front of an abortion clinic, including you can't pray silently. So just wrap that around your head. You know, how can the thoughts in your head be a criminal act? And years ago, I remember I had an album by folk singer Pete Seeger, and he did a song that originally was written back during the Reformation. In German, the song was titled Die Gedanken sind frei, which means my thoughts are free. And so apply that concept to what's happening in England. Isabel Vaughan's thoughts as she prays, those thoughts are free. But not to England, not to the people that passed this buffer zone law. So, and now she's being investigated a third time for the same thing, praying silently. So we'll see how that all plays out. But free speech is in short supply in several places in the UK. Okay. If you go on to lifenews.com, you'll see there's an article about a man who was just found guilty of beating two pro-life activists in Baltimore. And one activist or advocate was 84, and the other one was 73. So these are senior citizens. And on camera, on a video, it shows this younger man beating them. Well, he was arrested. The young man was arrested. He was tried. He was convicted of 4 counts of assault and battery. And the prosecution wanted to send him away to several years in prison. Well, no surprise here. The judge slapped his wrist or slapped his hand and sentenced him to 1 year supervised probation. No jail time, no prison time, nothing like that. Can you imagine if I went up to to a stranger and just smashed them in the face and started beating them? I don't think I would get supervised probation. I think I'd probably go to jail. At least jail, maybe not prison, but I'd go to jail for assault and battery. Well, this young man is basically getting off scot-free. And there's a 2-tier system of justice between how abortion-friendly judges deal with pro-lifers and how they deal with their own people. They're given light sentences. And I think back to Mark Houck, talked about him before. He pushing a man down because he was in his son's face. He could have gotten 11 years in prison for pushing a man down. And this guy gets 1 year. And Mark Houck was not beating this guy. He just kind of pushed him down. Nobody got hurt. But look at the video. Look at the picture on this article on lifenews.com. Over his eye, there's a big welt. He's got a black eye, and his nose is all mangled and bloody. The man looks terrible in this picture. 2-tier system of justice. Okay. Last item. Mark your calendars. Save the date, November 6, 2025. It's Right to Life in Michigan hosting the second March for Life. It's going to be held on the Capitol grounds in Lansing, right in front of the Capitol building. We'll have featured speakers. There'll be a short walk to the Hall of Justice, about a half a mile away. So I'm not even sure if it's even a half a mile. A short walk. The last time the weather was a little iffy. It is November, but so you want to dress for the weather. But we need to know who's going to be there. We do need to know because Kalamazoo Right to Life has chartered a bus. It's going to be leaving around 8:30 sharp from the Kalamazoo First Assembly parking lot, 5550 Oakland Drive in Portage, zip 49024. I got to get the right zip code. And it's $20 per person, but if you're bringing your family, there's a maximum charge of $50 for the whole family. So if you want to reserve your seat, the phone number is 269-548-7132. Or if you want to go on to our website, it's kazoortl.org/contact. And you can sign up. And I believe that you'll be able to make that payment on the secure website. $20 per person, or the whole family's going to come, a maximum charge of $50. Bring a sack lunch. We can provide some bottled water. We'd be eating our lunch on the return trip. The program starts at 11 with music and speeches. And at noon is the short march, the walk. We plan on leaving around 2 p.m. because the bus will pick us up where he dropped us off by the Capitol. We should be home around 3:30, 4 o'clock. We really need your participation. This is an important event. We need to show the governor and the pro-abortion state Senate that's still controlled by the pro-abortion Democrats that we are not giving up. We are not giving up on moms being exploited. We're not giving up on unborn babies who need protection, the right to life. We're not giving up on life. And Right to Life in Michigan's new message is life, the other choice. After Prop 3, the other side with Governor Whitmer's signature passed the Reproductive Health Act. A lot of our pro-life laws are gone. And the message that the pro-abortion people will give is, you go to Planned Parenthood and they will counsel young women in a crisis pregnancy. They will counsel them. Your solution is abortion. That is your solution. Your best option is to abort that baby and go on with your life. And Right to Life in Michigan is saying, no, if you are given options, you need to be given options. And the best option is the option to choose life for your baby. Life, the other choice. So be in prayer about the March for Life, November 6th. We've got we have a bus all charter. If the response is great, we'll get a second bus. But we're leaving that morning sharp 8:30 because we want to get there and participate in the March for Life. With that, I'll let you go and I'll see you next time.